You hold the devil's head high, blood dripping like ink, staining the ground beneath your feet. It isn't just a trophy, it's a declaration, proof that the impossible can be done, that even the darkest throne can crumble when someone refuses to kneel. They said you were nothing. They laughed when you dared to dream. They whispered behind your back, certain you would break before you even began. And yet, here you stand, scarred, unshaken, and victorious. But how? How did the one they mocked, ridiculed, and dismissed walk into the fire of hell itself and return holding the symbol of rebellion in your hands? It wasn't luck. It wasn't fate. It was will. Pure, relentless, unbreakable will. When the world told you to bow, you stood taller. When they tried to chain you with fear, you forged those chains into weapons. Every insult, every doubt, every attempt to bury you was nothing more than soil around the seed of your legend. Do you remember the nights when despair pressed against your chest, whispering that you weren't enough? Do you remember the eyes of those who said you would fail, the smirks, the condescending tones, the way they built monuments to your defeat before you even had the chance to rise? They thought their words could shatter you. Instead, they sharpened you. Instead, they gave you reason. Instead, they awakened a storm they could not control. You weren't born strong. You were forged strong, hammered in the fire of humiliation, sharpened by every rejection, strengthened by every setback. They thought they were burying you, but they were wrong. They were planting you. And when the soil cracked open, when the roots of defiance spread, something greater emerged, something they could not stop, something they could not understand. And so the journey began, not as a march of glory, but as a crawl through shadows, through doubt, through ridicule. Step by painful step, you carried the weight of their disbelief until it became the very fuel that pushed you beyond every limit they thought you would break. Instead, you broke free. The devil did not wait idly for your rise. He saw you coming. He felt the tremors of your defiance shaking the ground of his dominion. And when you finally crossed the threshold of his gates, he came at you with everything he had, not with swords, not with chains, but with the weapons he knew best: fear, temptation, and despair. He whispered to you in the dead of night, his voice slipping into your thoughts like poison. He painted visions of failure across your mind, illusions of hopelessness so vivid you could almost taste the ash. He promised you power if you surrendered, peace if you bowed, escape if you gave in. He dressed his chains in gold, hoping you would mistake them for crowns. He unleashed storms of doubt, lightning strikes of temptation, thunder that shook your very resolve. But you didn't bend. You didn't break. You stared into the storm and laughed because you knew something he could never understand, that real power is not taken, it is forged. It does not come from thrones or crowns or fiery dominions. It comes from defiance, from standing in the face of the unthinkable and saying, "Not today." Do you remember those moments when your knees trembled, when your chest ached with fear, when every part of you screamed to turn back, that was him. That was his voice, his claws scraping against the edges of your spirit. But instead of retreating, you advanced. Instead of yielding, you pressed forward. Every temptation he dangled before you only revealed how desperate he truly was. Every fear he whispered into your ear only showed that he was afraid of you. The devil fights hardest when he knows he is losing. That is why he came at you with his full arsenal. That is why he clawed at your mind, your heart, your soul. But you endured, you resisted, you defied, and with every step you stripped away his illusion of power until all that remained was a trembling tyrant, desperate to keep his throne. Then it happened, the moment everything led to. The clash reached its peak. The world seemed to hold its breath, and you stood at the edge of eternity. The devil lunged with fury, his eyes burning with hatred, his voice echoing promises of your destruction. But in that instant, you did not hesitate. You did not flinch. With one decisive strike, you shattered the illusion. The blade fell, the silence roared louder than thunder, and the impossible became reality. You didn't just slay a king. You ended a reign. You destroyed the myth that he was untouchable. His head rolled at your feet, his crown turned to dust, and the very symbol of his dominion dripped with the blood of your defiance. For the first time, the devil was no longer a force to be feared, but a memory of what once was. Look around you now. The same people who mocked you, who called you a fool, now whisper your name with trembling lips. They don't laugh anymore. They don't jeer. Their voices are filled with awe, with fear, with respect. They swore you would never earn. They cannot decide whether to call you a savior or a monster, a hero or a tyrant. But ask yourself, does it even matter? Because this moment is not about them. This moment is about you, about what you represent. You are no longer just a person. You are a force of nature. You are living proof that no throne is too high to be toppled, no tyrant too strong to be brought low, no devil too terrifying to be defeated. Your victory is more than a trophy. It is a message carved in blood and fire. Nothing is invincible. And yet, victory is not without weight. Power changes everything. People will look at you differently now. Some will worship, others will fear, some will plot, others will beg, but all of them will remember this moment, the day the impossible was done, the day the devil fell. And as they struggle to define you, you already know the truth. You are beyond definition. The devil is gone, his throne reduced to rubble, his crown nothing but dust beneath your feet. And yet this is not the end, it is the beginning. Victory is a dangerous gift. It can blind, it can corrupt, or it can ignite something even greater. The question is not, what have you conquered? The question is, what will you do now that you hold the power to shape what comes next? Will you bask in the glow of triumph, let the world kneel before you, and rest in the comfort of what you've already achieved? Or will you see this moment for what it truly is, a gateway, a fire burning at the edge of possibility, daring you to step further, deeper, bolder. Beyond this victory lie more battles, more tyrants, more illusions waiting to be torn down. This was never about one throne. This was about every throne that dares to stand against truth and defiance. Power is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your responsibility. You hold in your hands the weight of a legacy. Will you rule with wisdom or wrath? Will you build or will you burn? Will you become another tyrant, chained by the very pride that destroyed your enemy? Or will you rise as something more, a visionary, a creator, a force that redefines what power truly means? The world watches you now, every eye fixed, every whisper holding its breath. Some hope you'll stumble. Others pray you'll rise higher than ever before. They see in you both the threat of destruction and the promise of rebirth. And that uncertainty terrifies them because they know the truth. The fate of what comes next rests in your hands. This is your crossroads. This is the moment where legends either fade into memory or grow into something eternal. The devil's head in your grasp is not just proof of your strength. It is a mirror reflecting your future. What will you choose to create with the power you've won? The devil's fall was never just about him. It was about every battle you fought, every scar you've carried, every night you nearly surrendered but didn't. His head is not only a trophy, it's a symbol of what happens when pain becomes fuel and scars turn into armor. You proved that even when the odds are stacked, even when the voices of doubt are louder than your own, defiance can carry you through. Think back to the times they said you couldn't do it, the promotion you'd never earn, the dream you'd never reach, the weight they swore would crush you. Every doubt they hurled was meant to bury you. Instead, you twisted their words into fire and forged yourself in its heat. And now your victory shines so bright that it exposes their failure to rise. That's why they fear you. That's why they whisper, because your strength reminds them of the courage they abandoned. But this story doesn't end with survival. You didn't come this far just to exist. You came to lead, to inspire, to ignite a spark in a world that forgot what it means to dream. The greatest battles are not fought with swords or fists, but with vision, with courage, with the audacity to say, I will not bow. You've already proven you possess all three. Now the world waits to see what you will build from the ashes. So lift your head high, not as a tyrant, not as a ruler chained by pride, but as a living testament to resilience. When the next storm comes, and it will, you will not break. You've faced the fire and it did not consume you. You've walked through hell and it only made you stronger. The universe knows your name now, and more importantly, it knows your truth. You are not defined by the battles you fought, but by the strength to rise again and again, no matter the odds. The devil is dead. His throne is dust. And in the silence that follows, a new legend begins. This is your reckoning, your rise, your time, not just to claim victory, but to create transformation. So go forward, build, inspire, Dream, and let the world see what happens when someone not only holds the devil's head as a trophy, but dares to shape a future far greater than the darkness they destroyed.